A great first issue, but explain real quick what you're doing with the DC Comics universe, because it does seem like often these days there's a sense of starting over with comics. Is that what this is?
No, thank God.
Okay.
I think for all comics, like comics to me, like an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Comic books to me are that apple. I feel like superheroes they're junk food that's really good for you. Like people think they're just, you know, they're just there for pop and awe, and they actually mean something. Like they're inspirational. And DC Comics, like in the DNA, it's all about hope and inspiration. And we needed to get back to that. And so the comic books, they're not rebooting, which is a dirty word. That's a swear word in the comic book world.
Okay.
Because it means that everything you've ever read and bought doesn't exist anymore.
Got it.
But the relaunch is just approaching it with a new light and bringing every character that hasn't been around back.
about love, which I really enjoyed. That, you know, they talked about Black Canary and Green Arrow, that they didn't even know each other in the New 52, and they said, but now that they saw each other, they saw a glimpse and they knew something was wrong. And then you go into that scene with Linda and Wally, and Linda doesn't remember Wally, and your heart is broken all over again. Because if you know the history of these characters, even if you don't, if you just read some of the monologue, you feel for Wally throughout. He literally doesn't care if he dies, he just wants his world to be saved. So yeah, I mean, there's so many small details that you could pick at for hours, but it was an amazing book. Honestly, it's one of the best DC books I've read in a really long time. It's one of the best comic books I've read in a really long time. And 100% I'm giving this 5 stars. Read DC Rebirth. If you missed the pre-New 52, read it. If you love the New 52, read it. Because I think what I loved about this is that it added both universes so well together. And just lastly, even the way they handled Wally the New 52, saying that they were related, and it's just a coincidence that they're both named Wally. They both are 2 different characters, and they're owned up to their own legacy and their own essence. So it's not taking anything away from the New 52 Wally, not taking anything away from the pre-New 52 Wally. They're both different characters that are shooting for their own legacies, just like any other legacy character from The Flash. So yes, buy this book, 5 stars. It was so good. Again, I will...
Great storytelling. I'm not even going to get around to talking about cons because, in my honest opinion, it was a little heavy-handed of a story. It requires you to know a lot going in. But other than that, I really feel like it was a book that was written for us as comic book fans. I'm definitely interested to see what they do with this in the future. And for the first time in a long time, I'm really excited to read DC Comics. That being said, I'm going to give this book a score of a 9 out of 10. It's probably the most interesting DC comic book I've read in a long time. I'm really excited to get back into the fold of DC Comics. Before this, I've been down to like maybe 2 or 3 total books. I think Batman, Justice League, and Superman were the only books that I was reading month in and month out. So hopefully this gets me back into DC Comics, gets a lot of talent back on these books, and starts bringing some of these characters back in ways that we know and love. Thank you.
Now, to me, I think the art was stellar, and I honestly went into this expecting complete crap. I'm going to be honest with you. I was not excited at all. Sitting there reading it once, I was taken back by how fun this was and how much, less serious they're trying to be, even though it is a serious quote-unquote subject they're tackling here with universes, and different realities and all of that. And when you really get down to the brass and bones of it, this is probably one of the most fun comics we've had in DC for a long time. It's definitely a bright new outlook on the DC Comics universe, and I think it puts a lot of hopes going into the future for the people that might have jumped ship, or abandoned ship technically, when the New 52 arrived. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I would recommend this specifically if you are a DC Comics fan. I'm going to give this one a 8.5 out of 10, maybe even a 9.
Hey you guys, I'm telling you guys about DC Universe Rebirth #1. I had went to the comic book store to try and pick this thing up, the physical copy of this book. But when I went there, I came to surprised to find out that they were sold out of all of them. Like, there were no more DC Universe #1s. Same with Steve Rogers Captain America #1. Those were also selling out as well. But there was like a long list for DC Rebirth. People who wanted to pick it up and weren't able to this week, and we're going to be waiting for the new reprints that were going to be coming out. So I didn't end up getting a physical copy, even though I really want one. I still probably am going to get one. I did have my name on the list for to get a physical copy, so I will be telling you about like the physical copy of that whenever I do get it. I'll probably do like an unboxing video later on. But I went ahead and filled a digital copy of it on my iPad, and I gotta say I really enjoyed this book. It's nice that DC gave us a $2.99 book that has for like an 80-page something comic with like 4 chapters and an epilogue. And Overall, I really liked this book a whole lot, a whole lot. I thought it was really hard, but I thought it was really powerful. I thought it was cool how they didn't say the New 52 didn't happen. I love how they opened the door for the fact that New 52 can come back. You know, like the New 52 man could easily come back one day. They even had like a discussion about this when they're talking about how Superman died. You know, they bring up the fact that, you know, he could, like, come back. Because Superman even says it. The Pre-52 Superman even says it. Like, you think that, you know, I came back. Who's to say that New 52 Superman can't come back one day? And I like that. I like how they left it open for all of us. So that way, if you did read New 52 like I did, you can, like, hopefully see the return of these characters. But if you also want Pre-52 to come back and you are not a big fan of New 52, you can enjoy that too. And it's kind of like the merging of all of these universes together. You know, it's the merging of the New 52 and the Pre-52 together and kind of merging them to one. And then we kind of get out of it, we get like 3 Wallies now. I mean, well, not 3 Wallies, 2 Wallies and 1 Barry Allen, so like 3 Flashes, I guess. One who's probably going to become Kid Flash. One's going to be a regular Flash. And I guess the other one's going to be Impulse. They haven't really confirmed or denied that. I mean, that's what makes sense to me. But, yeah. I do admit, though, you have to know a lot about the DC comic book universe to really, really appreciate this book. Because I didn't know who created New 52 or like who originally was thought to have been a reader for Paradox. I guess I do research. I did find it was that Pandora chick who did end up dying throughout Rebirth. Someone did kill her, and it is believed to be at the end of the book the Watchmen, which is interesting to see. They're gonna apparently be adding the Watchmen to this universe now. So. Man, we kind of got like a bunch of different things going on here. We got like Pre-52 coming back, everything before Flashpoint coming back. We got New 52 that is mostly going to be sticking. Obviously, New 52 Superman died, but we still have Batman. We still have Wonder Woman, right? So far, at least. I mean, we don't know what a Rebirth title is going to be like. And yeah. We have New 52 and we have Pre-52 and then we're going to have Watchmen. So that's crazy. We're going to have all of these things coming together to one big universe. And, you know, I guess it's going to be better for everybody because everybody can get what they want out of this. And that's nice of them to do. I really enjoyed this book overall, though. It was a really nice book. Nice little read. I love the scene when we see like Pre-52 Wally going through the time, and especially the scene when he meets Linda and how Linda doesn't remember him, and that just like breaks him, like it breaks his heart. And that Linda can't remember him, like the love of his life, just she doesn't remember you, and it's so sad. You feel so much emotion in that moment. And then of course you see when he kind of meets Barry, at first Barry doesn't remember him either, and you're like, no, you have to remember him, you have to remember. And then you see Barry grab Wally and pull him out, just be for finally remembering him and hug him, and it's such a heartfelt moment. It really is. It's a nice moment they had there. It's just Rebirth is a wow. It is a big wow. This is my first time doing a DC review on this channel. And that was never because I didn't like DC. I love DC. Of course I do. I watched all of Smallville. I have enjoyed the Batman character. I watched most of his Batman films. Like Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, the original Tim Burton Batman movies. I even seen like the bad ones like Batman and Robin and stuff. But I know the New 52, I didn't hate New 52 really. At the beginning at least I didn't. I have no problem with New 52 Superman. I like the way he acted, kinda. You know how he was like this really tough heart kind of type of dude. He's like the regular Superman. I liked it, kinda. But over time, as New 52 went on and went on, it got more and more convoluted, and it got more and more confusing as time went on. And after a while, I just didn't. It was hard to read after that, and I didn't like where it was at that point, and so I kind of stopped. And I just kind of went with the moral votes, and because I love what they're doing, all new, all different. Really, I love most of their reboots, even though they keep rebooting it so many times now. Even though it's just for the movies, I guess. I heard that they're just rebooting it because of the movies. Because the storyline never really changes that much. But that was all I really had. I really all I could read, like Marvel books. Because that's the only I can make sense of. That's the only that actually made some sense to me. Everything else was just so weird and crazy over in DC. Of course, they did the DCU with the YOU. And I hated that. Oh my god, that was terrible. They had the True Star, which made no freaking sense. It got all confusing really quickly. You had Jim Gordon as Batman. I mean, these are great side stories or something like that, or these have them out of continuity. But when you bring them into continuity, it just got really confusing, and it made no literal sense after that. And I just hated it. I hated it so much. But then I read Last Days of Superman. And that for the first time in a long, long time, I was really able to get in to what they were doing. I really was. I was able to kind of read DC again and understand what was going on. For the first time ever, like Superman and Wonder Woman relationship really became more heartfelt. And seeing Superman die became more emotional for me. And it was a beautiful storyline by Jay Tomasi. He did such an amazing job on it. I loved it very, very much. It was definitely my favorite Superman book I've ever had read. And wow, just wow. So that's really what I wanted to tell you guys about how I felt when going up to this rebirth thing that was going on, and how I'm really happy that Jeff Johns has made the decision to do this for all of us. He's to do this for all our fans who have grown up with these characters, who have loved these characters, who have stood by these characters and wanted these characters to go on and live on forever in many people's hearts. And it's really nice of Jeff Johns to do that. And just really happy for it. It really was nice. I really hope you guys all enjoyed this review for DC Universe Rebirth #1. Because I know I did. I hope you all are able to get a physical copy as well, like I did. Like I wasn't able to. But I hope you guys are able to. Because DC Universe Rebirth is something we all really need to get behind. I'm gonna give this one 5 out of 5 stars. It is. I can finally start reading DC comics again. I can finally start getting back into DC again. I'm so happy about that. Really, really happy. Please subscribe for more comic book reviews, you guys. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.